Hello, good afternoon. It's afternoon for me. I don't know when you're watching this, but welcome to another episode of Ask Aaron. First, I want to apologize. Last week we didn't get on, and that's basically because the internet at my house has been really awful. And so that's been a problem. It contributed to us not getting on last week, and I want to say I'm sorry for that. I do intend to answer those questions in the near future. This week, though, we are jumping in back to answering questions about the message that I gave the past Sunday here. And that was a message on common sense Christianity. You can watch that on hillcityhudson.org/media on the Hill City YouTube or Facebook pages as well. And basically, the premise was that a lot of what we learn from the Gospels, from the story of Jesus's life, his teachings, the example that he sets, and from the New Testament, the epistles and the letters that the disciples wrote, should be common sense for us, especially as Christians, that if we follow it and if it is common sense to us in our lives, that our lives will be more fulfilling and they'll go perhaps a little bit better than they would if we didn't follow those teachings. And so, I hope that you take the time to watch that message. Felt like a good one, and a lot of people connected with it. So with that, I want to answer a question that we received about that message, and then some other questions that people have asked of me, and they're a little bit less specific to the message, but still worth answering. So, the question that we got that pertains to the message is this: what if I get tired of doing the right common sense thing? As in, I know what I should do, but I just don't feel like it. And this is a great question because I think all of us feel like this from time to time, right? Like, we know what the right thing to do is. We understand that there is a right and a wrong and that we should do the right thing, but we just grow tired of it. We don't want to do it. We see other people doing the wrong thing and getting rewarded for it. And so we just don't feel like doing the right thing. I think that's fair. I think it's understandable. But I do think it's in moments like these that character is revealed, that who we are when no one's watching is important because God is actually always watching. And the world, lest we feel like they're not watching, are always watching as well. And so reality is that we need to, as believers and as Christians, always attempt to do the right thing, that we need to make difficult choices and push through in difficult circumstances. But perhaps what the question is really asking is, how can I inspire myself, or how can I encourage myself to do the right thing? And I think for that, there's an answer, and hopefully this answer inspires you, and that is that we always need to be thinking about what the world looks like for us and for others when we do the right thing versus the wrong thing. So it's kind of like making a pros and cons list. It's kind of like comparing and contrasting. Think about the world in which you live if you do the right thing, and think about the world in which you live if you do the wrong thing. Think about the consequences for you, for your family, for your relationships, perhaps for your job, if you do the right thing and if you do the wrong thing. And hopefully, viewing this future world or the world in light of the consequences of your decision will inspire you that while doing the right thing now may be more difficult than doing the wrong thing in this moment, that doing the right thing, even if it's more difficult in the moment, will make life better, more simpler, have less consequences, more fulfilling for you in the long run, and will potentially improve the lives of the people who you love and care about and want to see have the right thing happen for them as well. For instance, I'll just give you this example. Disciplining a child may seem really, really taxing in the moment, right? Getting your kids to do the right thing and explaining to them why the right thing is the right thing and how important it is for them to do the right thing, and following through on what you promised or threatened to do as it pertains to consequences. All of those things seem difficult in the moment, But down the road in the future, as you continue to do those things and raise them correctly, life changes for them. They understand the consequences of their behavior, and ultimately you have to do less parenting on the back end because you did more parenting on the front end. Does it always work out that way? No, absolutely not. But does it usually work out that way? Yes. And I think that's just one example of doing the right thing in the moment, even when it doesn't feel like something you want to do, even when it requires more energy and effort and patience and stick-to-itiveness. In the long run, it makes your life better, it makes their life better, and I think you can extrapolate this out into other circumstances as well, okay? Now we're going to move into some questions that aren't specific to the message, but are specific to me. So here's one. How can I get to know Aaron and his family better? Well, one, you can follow my wife on social media. She shares a ton of stuff about our life and her work and our kids. You can listen to messages because I give all sorts of stories about our life. Sometimes people are like, oh, stop talking about your kids. I know, it's my life. I love them. I like our life and our stories. You can invite us out to dinner. We love steak. We also love getting together with friends. So invite us to your favorite restaurant, and we'll try to make time for that. We really love getting to know the people of our church and feel like that's super important. So if you're not a member of our church, you can write us an email. If you live across the world, you can write us an email, aaron@hillcityhudson.org. You can follow me on social media and read stuff on my blog. I don't post nearly as much as my wife, but when I do, it's usually stuff that's important. And you can write in the comment sections of this video or on Facebook stuff, trying to ask questions, and I'll try to answer them. Now, am I going to share with you my social security number? No, I'm not. But will I be willing to tell you about how I raise my kids or what I do in situations where my wife and I are in a disagreement? Or, yeah, absolutely, right? Those are things that as a pastor I feel strongly about sharing so that people can learn why I choose to do things the way I do them. Not that I do things perfectly, because I do not. But I try to base my life on the Bible and on the teachings of the Bible. And so I want to share my whys behind all of those different things, okay? Next question is a little bit more specific to our church, but it could be for your church if you go to a different church as well. I don't feel like I fit in very well at my church. What can be done? Well, first thing I would encourage you to do is make regular church attendance important, because that's how you're going to get to know people, is by showing up, introducing yourself to people, and being present. Another great step you can do is sign up to join a small group. Ours are coming to an end for the school year, but we're going to be having events throughout the summer, and we're also going to kick off small groups again next fall. Sign up to be in a small group. This is where you get intimate relationships and details about people's lives that help you get to know them better and feel like you belong. And the last way I would sort of express to you is this: if you're at a church and you feel like you don't fit in, figure out what they have that fits your giftings, the things that you're good at, the things that you like to do, ways that you could contribute to the church, and then sign up to do those things. Take a leap of faith and jump in and become a part of your church by volunteering at your church. And as you do that, I think you'll meet new people. You'll figure out maybe why God brought you to this place, and it'll help you to feel as though you belong and you're important to this organization. The last question asked in this vein by this person who asked these last three questions is this: did my wife inspire your sermon on common sense? No, because I don't base any of my messages on specific people, or I don't preach them to just one person, and I don't take requests. Hey, can you tell my husband he needs to live more commonsensically? Or hey, can you tell my wife she needs to live more commonsensically? No, absolutely not. However, perhaps it should inspire you to have a conversation with your wife about what is common sense and whether your Christian faith is inspiring you to do commonsensical things, on and on and on. So did I get inspiration from your mystery questioner's wife? No, I did not. Should you perhaps use my message as inspiration to have a conversation with your wife? Absolutely, you should. All right. We got 2 more questions here. If you guys know me and understand who I am as a person and a pastor, this will come as no surprise to you. I like to have a lot of fun. I like to get a little silly. Goofy can be a word that's used to describe me. So there were a couple questions asked this week that I'm going to answer. They bear no relevance to the message or really to faith in general, but they asked Aaron, and so I feel as though I need to answer them, okay? If I don't shower, then does my girlfriend, fiance, spouse need to shut me up, tell me to stop talking for 7 days? This is in reference to a verse in Leviticus. Now, you can go find this verse for yourself. I'm not going to explain it. It's a long verse. It has no, real bearing on today's Christian faith. So if you want to go looking for this verse in Leviticus, you go ahead. Here's what I would say. If you don't shower for 7 days, anyone, your coworker, your children, your spouse, your girlfriend, they have permission to tell you to get away from them. If you don't shower for 7 days and it's just a choice that you're making, no one needs to talk to you. You stink. Running water exists in America in the 21st century. Take a shower, take a bath even. It's a poor substitute for a shower because you're sitting in your own water, yuck. But here's the deal. If you choose to smell that poorly, anyone can choose to walk away from you. That's just my personal opinion. As I always say, all the views shared on Ask Aaron are my personal opinion, not the church's. Do they have a biblical right to shut you down or shut you up for 7 days? I don't know. It's open to interpretation. I think they have a right as a human being to say, you go take a shower, you smell. Last question. Told you it was going to get weird. Last question. Did they ever find Amelia Earhart? This question asked by a close friend of mine. He also asked during my message on Sunday, if you watch the message, you'll see, where do babies come from? The answer to where do babies come from is mommies. Babies come from mommies. And that's just scientific fact, okay? Did they ever find Amelia Earhart? Asked by the same person. My personal answer to this question is no, they didn't find her. She and Jimmy Hoffa got married and they moved somewhere, and we're never going to know what happened to either of them. Jimmy Hoffa and Amelia Earhart are probably very happy on some island somewhere. And at this point, they perhaps have passed on, but you understand my point. No, they did not find Amelia Earhart because she and Mr. Hoffa are very good at disappearing. All right? That's all for Ask Aaron this week. Thank you so much for watching. As always, you can put your comments below, and I'll try to get to them as soon as I can. Have a great Memorial Day weekend, and we will talk to you soon.